Trying to think, if you didn't tune in last time, welcome to the tank, or as Gary's named it, THOR, due to its size. What's the significance of this glass? You call it wraparound glass.
Yeah, we were looking at wraparound glass. It tidies the whole back end of the car up. The glass that's in the back end of the car is normally functional glass. What we're trying to do is something that's much higher level, that keeps the theme of the car, has a complete wraparound. So the side and back becomes a complete wraparound piece of black glass.
It's quite remarkable how a piece of glass has changed the way this thing looks. It was evil before. now it's looking pretty sinister. Flush here. Flush. This is why it's referred to as the wraparound glass. It's got a very quality finish all of a sudden, hasn't it?
We're looking at that high level quality.
I love
so
that.
This is the first panel in the back. Again, it's got small insert panels normally, and this continues the black wraparound. We're taking everything that Land Rover did and lifting it. Yeah. We're looking at everything we can do is trying to find what's best in the sector and adding it to our cars.
So at the minute it's all black on black on black outside. This Heritage has got these sort of contrasting, it's like a titanium brushed finish that we thought would look quite nice as a contrast on THOR. So Gary's ordered in some hardware and they've just turned up, haven't they?
Yeah, we're looking at external and internal hardware to be the same. So on the external of the car, we've got black hinges on it now. We're going to change to all of this brushed effect, and we're going to match the whole interior with the exterior.
So we've got AP racing brakes going on it. We were wondering, to begin with, do we insert a set of 6-pot reds at the front? I think it's going 4-pot at the rear, or there is a satin black pair. Gary had a great idea that because everything about the car is bespoke, why don't we send them off for its own paint job, and we're going to match the calipers with the color of the interior.
Yeah.
Or shall I say complement, really? Complement. So we won't give the interior away just yet. All of the parts on this are like you'd have them on your office desk. Like it's all super sexy stuff. I mean, that's gorgeous, isn't it? I'm trying to find an excuse to put that on my desk. It's like the most expensive paper holder ever. You know, I mean, like as far as steels go, it's big, but it's not the biggest. And it is, I mean, the weight, it's hard to convey on film. You got it? There you go, yeah. So if you think of the ceramic equivalent of that would be half the weight. Every piece of hardware that you interact with inside the car is billet, right? Billet. I mean, look at the pedals. Look at that, that is gorgeous. Removable steering wheel.
Are you joking?
I'm not joking, that is a removable steering wheel. How cool is that? Funniest thing, isn't it, that will ultimately be the contact patch to control 2.5 tons of THOR V8. So on THOR, we're having the outer kept like this and the inner mesh is going black. You don't get washers that good looking on a supercar. I mean, I'm serious, like they're normally just like a plastic little jet. That, you would, honestly, if I didn't know what that was, I'd say it's off a race car. The camera definitely won't see this, but what looks like a sort of join seam here that's actually got 6 little slots, 3 either side of that tiny little line. And once it's pressured down here, it'll spray out on a really tight jet.
We've had this cut out CNC'd out of a billet of aluminium.
So that's a single piece?
It's a single piece. The cup holders we've had made and turned, insert it into solid. This other part, this switch here, is for an electronic handbrake.
Look at that, it's completely smoked.
This is your wheel nut.
Looks like something off a ship. One wheel nut, sir. That looks like something from Star Wars. That's out of this world. Ooh. So picture, if you're familiar with the traditional lighting on the back of a Defender, they're normally quite primary, amber and red. Not anymore, smoked out. If I saw that under the Christmas tree when I was a kid, Fox racing shocks were like everything to me. You know? So this provides overall, the entire travel is between 8 and 9 inches.
Yep.
So honestly, to have this under my arch is a bit of a childhood tick box, you know?
You can imagine the weight of your wheels.
Yeah.
Most people have them strapped onto the doors. So what we do is we bolt it onto the main chassis and it swings separate to the door. So that bolts onto the back door, so the back chassis, so you don't have the weight of your, because it would just buckle your door. So we bolt that on, it swings away and then you can open your door. So underneath your winch section and protects the whole bottom end of the engine suspension, you've got this beast.
I can't wait to see all of these. Like, you know, when something comes
Christmas
greater
presents.
than the sum of its parts, I think that's what's going to happen when all of these things click in place.
That bolts under your bumper. And your sump guard, you can imagine, sits under that.
Wonder if we've gone overboard here.
The winch gets bolted to the top of that. And these slots take LED lights. And there's so many options in relation to all of this.
Yeah.
When you're speccing this car, it can become so bespoke to you.
Yeah.
There's 2 or 3 things here.
Okay.
So in essence, that's your engine. So this is a built V8.
Yeah.
Fully built with sniper kit on top. 12 jets, which mists it rather than...
Sure. So it's a more efficient burn.
So it's more efficient burn. A block like this, and then we replace the liners.
Okay.
So the liners get drilled out, and new liners get put in. And then it comes into this room, where is our build, and we start to build the engine from this point.
Oh, that is clean.
So this is polished, new liners have been put in, and then what we'll do is we balance the crank, the bottom end of this car, we balance all the rods, we balance the pistons, so it's fully balanced bottom end, and then we'll assemble the bottom end of the car. And then we do the exact same thing with the head. Fully ported head, new valves, and it's built from the ground up.
Okay, so we couldn't turn down an opportunity. While Thor is in build, we've got some really interesting cars here. So for JE, Richard here is taking some shots for us, which are going to end up on the new JE website, and we're really proud that our build will be part of that story. So yeah, head on and you might see this shot right here on the JE site. This is literally just turned up while we're here. See if I can just take this off. This will give you an idea. Recaro buckets. Now these are not staying like this. Whoa, it's heavy. Thanks, Yorkie. These aren't staying like this, but this is obviously the foundation of the seat. Folding forward bucket seat from Recaro. Now these are about to get fully retrimmed, but when you next see them, they're going to look entirely different. So this will give us a feel for how high we'll actually sit in the car. It is truck high. It's like HGV high. I was going down there. It really is. We got to do the drive-through test in this. They'll be passing the drink up. Yeah, comments below. When we do a first drive of something, we always like it to be like fun and interesting. What should we do with this first drive? Is it Scotland? Is it off-road excursion, or is it the opposite? Okay, so this is this is the engine, right? That's going in Thor.
Yes.
So this is the V8.
Rover V8.
I mean, you guys have been working on these for a while.
Yes.
So when did, or shall I say, what was the significant milestones for JE in terms of working and developing these engines?
Yes. Well, going right back to the early days of JE, it was in those days when the Triumph Stag was quite a nice touring car, but those engines weren't very reliable. So people used to put Rover V8s into Stags.
Right.
And John Eales way back then did exactly that, and then he started tuning up these Rovers, and soon was making the 3.9 litre version, which works a lot better than the 3.5. It's the same stroke but a bigger bore. Rover took over that size themselves in the 80s, and but John went on, and and this is about when I started getting involved with the place as well. And we were building first the 4.2 litre version, then the 4.5.
Right.
And then Land Rover later on brought out the 4.6. So we then made 4.8s and 5 litres, and people have made bigger than 5 litre, but 5 litre works pretty well and 4.8 works well.
Sure.
And this is in fact a 4.8 litre, and has the induction from the later Land Rover induction called a THOR induction, and that gives you very good torque spread because it has long runners on the induction side. So you get very good torque spread across the rev range of the engine.
And this is around about, what, 480 Newton meters or pounds feet?
Yes, Newton meters.
Newton meters.
Yeah.
Okay. Upgraded the injectors on these, so it's a finer injection, isn't it?
Oh yes, these are very modern injectors we use now.
Yes.
So they have a very fine spray. They're very accurate at idle,
Right.
and still make the fuel at the top end as well. But that's easy. It's the idling and the accuracy at low speed.
What was the development that JE did for the Dakar car? What engine?
The Dakar Racing?
Yes. Yeah.
They were 4.2s and then 4.5s.
Okay.
That was before the later 4.6s had been made by Land Rover, so they were an expansion of the 3.5, the 3.9.
Okay. Yes.
And they were running on the traditional Lucas induction, which gives you a bit more top-end power. It's quite easy to get kind of 320 horsepower with that and still drivable.
Okay. Right.
So that's the kind of thing they would have been in the mid-80s.
Now he's told me that. That's phase 2.
Dakar
upgrades. You could build a car to celebrate that. It would be special, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, where were we going to be in a couple of years' time? 40 years since we were doing engines for the Dakar.
Okay.
Actually, since then, we did engines for Bowler, and they were very competitive in the Dakar in kind of around about 2000 to 2010.
Right.
And we built engines for them.
So who fancies a 40th anniversary Dakar celebration heritage car?
Oh,
It's got a ring to
perfect,
it.
isn't it?
I'll take mine in camel livery, please. Thanks for coming.